I'm your Reverend Marrice Coverson, your pastor, and I will begin the sermon today. We are planting today as we come near the season. So this sermon today is about planting what you want in life. Planting and harvesting is really called harvesting, how you harvest. So I'll start out with King James Version. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck of which has been planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to love, lose, and a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to love and a time to hate, and a time of war and a time of peace. What profit has he that worketh in the where and the labor? I have seen the traveler which God has given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He has made everything beautiful in his time. Else also he has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I have read to you the first through the 11th of Ecclesiastes, number 3. So I started with that. We don't recognize the biblical verses as part of our service, but I started with that because there is a time for everything. There's a time for you to think about what we're doing on this earth plane and what we're not doing. But now there's a time for you to start thinking, because what is coming up? Mother's Day is coming up. And Mother's Day also symbolizes for many the beginning to plant. I have my friends, I said, when are you getting ready to plant your flowers? And they say Mother's Day is the beginning of the plant. So when you're getting ready to plant, you get ready to plant all those things for yourselves. And you want to harvest later. But you have to figure out what you're planting. Like for Mother's Day, when you get ready, around Mother's Day, when you get ready to plant, you look at all the flowers. You go there, get all the seeds. They go get all the different types of seeds they want to plant. And they figure out which seed will grow right now, which seed is grow in this time of year, or which seed will grow at this point. And so what they do, they plant in that way. So how do you plant your thoughts in terms of what you want? How do you figure out what you want in life? How do you do that? Think about that in the context of planting. So what they do is plant, and they look at what they want, and then they go get soil. They go get the soil to plant the seeds in. Many people just drop it in the dirt, but some people go get the soil. And why would they get the soil? Because they want the moist soil, they want the good soil, they want those plants to come to grow. And so what do you plant your thoughts in? When you want something, do you plant it in fear? Do you plant them in negativity? Do you plant them in hate? How do you plant the things that you want? How do you plant them? Do you say, I plant them in love? I plant them in all knowing that they're going to come back? I plant them in the gift that Spirit has given them to me, and they are my gift. How do I plant them? What do I do? And so what do you do? How do you plant them? How do you plant your thoughts of the things that you want, those things you're trying to gather in this coming year, the things that you want, the jobs that you want, the homes that you want, the love that you want, the peace that you want? How do you plant that? Do you just say, I'm going to throw it out there and it'll grow? Do you say, I'm going to plant it with love? As I send it, I'm going to send it with all the love in my heart. I'm going to think of it with all the love and peace in my heart. I'm going to do that. Is that what you do it with? Make sure you understand how you're planting. And because there's a time for everything. There's a time to plant that. And so when I talk about a time, let me start at the beginning. There's a time. Say, for instance, if you are looking for love, there's a time for it. Are you ready? Are you open to it? Are you loving yourself? Do you love yourself? That's the time. That's the time. It's not asking for love, just asking, and you're not ready. You don't know. You're not ready yourself. You don't love yourself. You're not peaceful within. You're struggling with your own self, or you're struggling with some addiction, or you're struggling with who you are. Those are not good times to plant love. You have to wait. You have to say that I'm getting those things together. I'm planting when all those things are, at least if they're not all together, they're almost together. You're planting all those things. You're just not throwing them in the ground. You're planting. Now you're planting a house. Let me say about a house. If you're planting for a house, if your thoughts, planting are your thoughts. Your thoughts. Are you putting your thoughts out there? If your thoughts are out there for a house, do you say that you're just going out there and buy a house? Or do you have the economic amount that you need for the house? Do you talk to a bank and do you schedule an appointment and see what you need to do to get a house? Do you look at where you want the house? Do you see the best place for a house? If you have children, or what to do, what you want to be, if you want to sit and look out at the sun or something like that, what do? You schedule what you want. You just don't go to any house. You schedule what you want the house to be, where you want the house to be. You plant it where you want the house to be. I want the house to be a certain place. I want the house to look a certain way. I want it to be no lot of construction or anything around it. I wanted all these things you want. These are the things that you look at when you're planting. The blessing of being and knowing that you're planting. There's a season for everything. There is a season. And so a lot of us fall aside and fall in getting what we want because we don't know when to plant. We just plant anytime. We just throw the seeds out there that say, grow, grow. Then our lives are a total mess. You say, what happened? Why is my life a total mess? What happened? Why did that person come in my life? That person. Well, you know why that person came into your life? Because you did not plant properly. You just opened the door and said, come in, whatever. I just want something. When you said that about a house, you didn't plant properly for that house. You said, I just want a house. Then you get a house with a lot of issues with it. The basement flooding. All these things happen. Or you have people with a lot of noise and people being negative. Or people complaining all the time. Or people doing lots of things around about you. These are the things that cause you much confusion. Planting. There's a time to plant. There's a season. And there's a time. And there's a time to pluck. Now, what is plucking? That is the time that once you plant, then you will see what you want comes. That house comes. You see what you want come. There's a time for everything in our lives. There's a time and a season. You know, we don't really take all the biblical work and teach it, but we know that there's a time. We know that there's a season. We know that everything under the sun happens at a certain time and at a reason. It just doesn't happen. We know that. We are very thoughtful about that. But we don't pay attention to when we plant. We might be thankful or thoughtful about it, but not paying attention to when we plant. As Mother's Day come up, people are looking for all the pretty flowers, and sometimes we want something that looks a certain way. The flowers are just blooming and they're big and they're pretty. And we want all those flowers that would come back looking really lovely. Is that what we always want? Do we want people in our vibration that are lovely? Not the look all the time, the flower, the vibration lovely. That means that the person or the home's vibration is lovely, and you feel good about the home and the vibration of the home because it's lovely. And not the flowers all the time looking pretty and all blooming. Sometimes when you buy the flowers, what do you look for? The smell. Smell. Oh, they smell so lovely. And that's so great. So we have to be very particular about what we do and how we develop our lives and how we create that which around us that we want to live with, and how we create what we want to live with, because life is from one beginning to end, and there is no going back and recreating. That's not a going back to recreate. You keep going. And so as you come to these parts where there's all these flaws, you can't go back and say, I want to do all that over again. No. Do all that over again. Those thoughts, I want to send those thoughts, do all those thoughts over again. No. What you do is you're going straight on, and you have to develop these thoughts, and these thoughts have to change as you go forth. And whatever you get later, or how you change your life later, then those thoughts will change. And hopefully the life will change and be better with those thoughts. But you can't undo what you've done in terms of your life journey. You can undo it by not doing it again, but not undo it. So you ask for blessings all the way, and ask for peace every day. And know that those blessings are for you to be cognizant of all the time. And that you know that you're building. What you build is for you to take hold of and build it with peace and seek it with knowledge, knowing that you are in charge of it and you want the best from it. May God bless you.